Hi guys, this is Natasha, aka Natty Willie, and welcome to another episode of TV Talk with Natasha and Kim. I'm Natasha, and say hello, Kim.
Hi, everybody.
And another week has passed, and we are going to be talking about 3 shows: The Following, Teen Wolf, and Helix. So let's start with The Following, and I wanted to do highlights. Or Kim, do you want to do highlights?
Oh, no, go right ahead.
Okay. The highlights that I wrote down was Joe shaves and speaks French. Lily doesn't trust Emma. Big surprise there. Mandy fits right in. Emma thinks Lily and her family are crazy. No brainer there. Emma draws Joe's face on Mark's body. That was a little twisted. Apparently, Mark has a condition that, like, he has to be the one touching, like he doesn't want people to touch him. And he mentioned the phobia that he has, and I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, but I thought that was interesting. Joe and Lily have sex, and Joe kills again because Lily gave him a gift of this college girl. The poor girl got kidnapped, and she got killed. Chappelle and Giselle get killed by Ryan, and then Mike figures out through his investigation that Joe is alive. There you go. Highlights.
Yeah, Ryan, if he wasn't obstructing justice at every single turn, we would have Luke in custody. So I'm like, come on, man. I understand that but you almost got your niece killed, and my gosh, what is your name? The French girl that died. Giselle, she like dislocated her like entire wrist to get out of those cuffs. I mean, that's hardcore. I couldn't do that.
I was literally thinking the same thing as I was watching the episode. I'm like, that is hardcore. And
barely made a noise.
I was mad at her, but at the same time, I'm like kind of sad that she's gone because she was actually kind of cool.
Yeah, she was on that one short-lived show that with the submarine that I watched. I cannot even remember the name of it anymore.
Oh, really?
But anyway.
Last Resort?
Yeah, Last Resort. Yeah, she was on Last Resort, remember? I don't know if you watched it, but yeah, she was on
Not really.
Yeah, I thought she was going to have a bigger part, but I guess not. And then you got to really see some emotion from Luke, because I know he cared about her, but does anybody like that crazy really care about anybody? But he obviously...
I think he does. I mean, he cares about his brother. I mean, I would hope so.
Yeah, he does. You just really saw him kind of break down and get angry and just upset and
yeah. Mark earlier in the episode was mentioning how like him and Giselle were really close, or Luke and Giselle, and Chappelle like lasted 2 episodes. He was supposed to be part of Joe's security detail, and then he gets himself killed, so he must not be very good.
No, but it was like an ambush. I'm sure they didn't expect Ryan to
That's why they were carrying guns around, walking around slowly into the factory. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were being cautious, but I'm sure they didn't expect her to get caught. Like, she's supposed to be really, really good, and she is. I mean, there was 2 of them that kind of trapped her. And you wouldn't think that she would give up the location, but I thought she probably thought that they were going to get the one up on Ryan, which they almost did because he got shot.
Yeah, he did get shot. And then he goes to this woman's house, and fortunately he, does like a scarf around her eyes so she doesn't identify him, but at the same time, he almost got her killed. Fortunately, he put her in the closet, but by actually being there, he put her in jeopardy. And then how would he have felt if they managed to shoot her? Because Luke actually was shot at Ryan by the couch. What if that was by the closet that he put her in? She would have been shot.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, yeah, I know he put her in danger, but he's obviously not thinking correctly, or else he would have brought in the FBI. I mean, the fact that he hasn't brought in the FBI is he's putting people in danger every single day, including his niece, over and over and over again. I mean, I think after this episode and the fact that she could have almost been killed and he thought that she was killed, that he needs to just be like, look, I'm in over my head. I can't involve her anymore because I don't have much family left and I need Mike. and the FBI, even though they're corrupt.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, the people that are investigating at the moment are not corrupt. However, the people that they are related to or have relationships with, yes, they are corrupted. And let's get a little bit into what's going on in the family house with Lily and Joe. Lily asks her son Mark to distract Emma, and he distracts her by taking her to his mom's art studio. And then he locks him in, and then it's like, wait, I can't let you out, huh? I'm confused by that. So you're just going to stay there all night, like for days? Is there a bathroom?
Well, I think it was for that night, but obviously he can't be. He's so crazy, and she goes nut job, like she touches his face like that. It was so funny, but it's like, dude, I don't know, I don't know. That's just weird.
He ruined the moment, but unfortunately he has that condition, and maybe that's why when they were killing like those people, like he didn't mind touching them then because they can't touch him. They're dead.
Yeah, that's a good point. So he was probably one back in what is it, the first episode where that girl was on the bed and he was just going like that and he was talking about how he likes touching. You know, that makes sense now. But that's something that you say up front, especially if you're trying to like make a move on somebody. Like he obviously likes Emma and he's like, by the way, don't touch me because if you do, I'll start screaming and I'll completely ruin the moment.
He was like trying to get the touch off of him, like he couldn't understand, like that it just felt wrong to him or something. And I think that's interesting. I don't know too much about that condition. I just know that certain people don't like people touching certain parts of their body, like the hair or the head or something like that, but not like anywhere.
Yeah, I mean that's gotta be rough.
It's rough, and yes, he should have told her up front before he made a move because that really dampened the move. At least I think if he told her up front, she would have been like, okay, all right, I may be able to work with that. But he was just like touching her, and then so of course she thought, well, I'll just reciprocate. Mark reminds me a lot about Jacob in the first season. The only difference is now he doesn't like touching.
Yeah.
And he's actually killed people. Like, he is a killer, whereas Jacob, it took him a long time to actually start killing.
It's so weird to me because, like, how would he... Most people fight back. If you come into close contact with them and you're trying to hurt them, they're going to fight back. So I wonder how he would deal with that if he was trying to kill somebody up close. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that was probably what Luke was for.
Yeah,
that's why they did the double team.
Yeah, that's insane. But they're all insane. They're not insane. Well, no, they are insane.
It's like Emma's level of crazy, and their level of crazy is like on different levels. Like apparently Emma, when she's saying that they're crazy, they're a higher level of crazy than she is. So of her and Joe anyway. And Lily brings a gift again to Joe, and he kills the poor college girl that was heavily sedated, so you didn't hear her scream or anything. She was just, it was like, what made it so bad was she knew what was happening, and it's like she couldn't do anything. I don't know if it was one of those kind of sedatives where you're awake but you're aware of what's going on, but you can't really, like kind of like a paralyzing agent or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's sad. I mean, that's just, that's like every woman's nightmare type of thing.
That was just cruel. But, I mean, Joe is trying to get his mojo back, and Lily's trying to help facilitate that. And at first he was like, I don't want to be controlled. But he took the gift anyway, and then apparently killing is a aphrodisiac for him or something, because he totally had sex with Lily right after, which she was hoping for.
Yeah, with all that blood on him, and I'm like, ew, she could have, like, you don't even know, like, she could have had some sort of, I don't know, just, I don't know. The whole thing grossed me out. It's just that the whole part is just like, ah.
Okay, really though. But if he was clean, would you have totally made out with him?
Well, I am just be well, okay. Him in general, as soon as he shaved, I'd have been all over that because I love his accent, and I just don't like those big, gruffy lumberjack beards. They don't do much for me. But when he shaved, he looked awesome.
Well, I mean, yeah, he was awesome in the first season. Like, he looked awesome. James Purefoy is a handsome man. And, of course, the accent helps, too. Like, I don't know what it is about accents, but it works for a lot of women. So
yeah, I saw him at Comic-Con, and I started screaming. I'd, like, lost my mind.
Yeah, I saw him at New York Comic-Con. It was in 2012, but, yeah, I'm hoping to see him again. Hopefully, maybe he'll be at Nerd HQ. Who knows? Maybe they'll do something. They have to do something with Kevin Bacon. I mean, come on, it's Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. Well, okay, should we move on to, like, let's say Teen Wolf?
Yeah, Teen Wolf. Right. Yeah, I got highlights for that, too. You want to do highlights?
Well, I think your highlights are written a little bit better because I make more like comments on certain things, but I don't do highlights. So go ahead with the highlights, and then I can.
I need to go back. I need to go back to highlights 1 second.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. The big thing about Teen Wolf is in the very first scene you get to see the vet again, and I was like, "Where have you been?"
Yes.
I'm like, "Where have you been? Everybody has needed you, and you were gone." And then all of a sudden, and I was a little confused in the beginning because I was like, "I'm sorry, is this house, there, or are we in Japan?" Because
yeah, they're in Japan because that was the same house that Daddy Argent, as I would like to call him, went to do that deal way back when he was younger, and that's when that guy, that mob boss, got killed. And so apparently the blood, which was the blood of the Nogosine, I hope that I'm pronouncing it, Nogosine. Anyways, yeah. And so the blood from the fountain, apparently it eventually became a moss, which is the title of the episode, Lothara Volpina, which is wolf lichen. And he explained this. Apparently it's very dangerous to both foxes and wolves, and it's like a poison. So he injected Styles at the end, like kind of like a save the day kind of a thing. And I wrote a comment about Styles here. Styles creates havoc by bombing the police station, putting an arrow into Coach, and stabbing his best friend. Yeah. And putting presents on a school bus like that psycho from the earlier episode. And gets poisoned by Deaton. That's what Styles has been up to the last... Oh, and he went to the house to set up Derek and... Daddy Argent to get arrested. There you go. Oh, he may have also killed Katashi.
Yeah.
In 48 hours. That's all that he has been up to, pretty much.
Yeah, Styles has been a busy guy. One thing that I noticed that the time for the mother and daughter talk between Kira and her mother has long since passed. It is very overdue. Mm-hmm. Some of this could have been avoided had they had that conversation, I don't know, when she turned 13 or something, like, oh, by the way, chances are, it just...
You're a kitsune.
And they still... And what's crazy is that the father even said, have you talked to Kira? And she's like, not since that night. They didn't even discuss what happened. She saw what happened. She knows what her daughter is. They still have not discussed it, and it made me angry. I'm like, parenting! Just... Come on! And one thing I want to know, too, is she slowly killing herself, the mother?
I would need to look up and see what actually happens if the kitsune loses all 9 of their tails. But, yeah, I think she's slowly killing herself. That's what I'm assuming. Because she just used 7. Like, she used 5, apparently, before. She just used 2 more, so that's 7. And she has 2 more. Because they have 9 tails.
Again, if she would have told her daughter, hey, don't attack these guys because I will die. Again, conversation.
She overheard the conversation, so she should have a clue.
You think? I don't know. I mean, she was looking in the door. I mean, she probably, I don't even, that's if she grasped what was going on, but how could she? Because she has no backstory? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I would be confused. I mean, she's got all this stuff going on with her, and she's like, obviously, somebody's not telling me something. I just
Mhm.
wouldn't be able to put it all together, but maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. I don't know.
I
Um,
don't know, but she also still like as soon as they, I think, stabbed Scott. I think that's when she kind of went crazy a little bit, and she kind of all of a sudden had these skills. I don't know if she had these skills before. It just seems kind of weird that all of a sudden she has these martial arts skills. I'm just saying.
yeah. All of a sudden, she could run fast and stuff like that. I'm like, here, hold something back. You want the whole world to know? Why don't you just wear a shirt, okay? Why don't
No,
you?
now the running fast. I'm not talking about the running fast thing because I think that's her trying to discover her powers again, similar to what Scott was feeling in season one. But then at the same time, I'm like, where do you get these martial arts skills? Like, if it was mentioned that, hey, I used to take karate when I was little, then I can see that. But all of a sudden, you're having these skills. The kitsune develops these skills for you, or that spirit helps you develop these skills, so you're able to fight off these ninja shadow warriors. Like, I'm not understanding that.
It maybe it just like flipped a switch in her head and she just went into
Fighting
like
mode.
instinct mode just because she was like, all I know is that my friends are in danger and I'm just going to.
Hmm.
And she might be like, I don't even know how I did that. We don't know because she's lying on the ground completely knocked out. Poor girl.
Yeah, although I have to say that the first part was pretty awesome when she flipped over the car and then she caught the wire and she like put it out and her eyes were glowing. That was cool.
In front of everybody. And then she ran past all of her schoolmates like impossibly fast in front of everybody. Again, mother-daughter talk. 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Five minutes.
And this could go a lot better. Hey, maybe you don't want everybody to know that you're a fox just because some people would be after you. So let's kind of keep a low profile. You know how you didn't know about your mother? That's because I kept a low profile. Why don't
Yeah,
you do the same type of thing? But
yeah.
I don't know. I like the way this is going. It's very interesting, and I want to see what happens. That was kind of anticlimactic with Styles, though. He was all like, ah, and
Yeah,
then he fell
yeah,
down.
yeah.
But that was cool. I like
I
that.
felt, yeah, Creepy Styles is
Creepy.
like, yeah, he's creepy, but in a good way because again, Dylan O'Brien is killing it. Like, the fact that they flashed back to kind of like when they weren't really showing him and Scott was taking the pain away, and so he had these like evil looks, and you're just like, that is so messed up, and it felt so horrible that he stabbed his best friend. He was not in control, of course, but just seeing that, it was a little heartbreaking.
Yeah, even when he was all like this, and you thought he was gonna pull it out, and he didn't. I'm like, you're such a jerk, man. That's such
Yeah.
just a horrible thing to do. My question is, all right, I've seen the movie Poltergeist. The dogs can sense that there's ghosts there. They were like you. I don't understand why he can't smell the difference. Like they're wolves. They should be able to smell the difference. Animals can smell like things that aren't supposed to, that aren't right. That's why I would always have an animal in a house just because I want to know if it's haunted.
I don't
And
I don't know if he actually really developed that because remember in last week's episode, Derek was actually trying to tell him how to like smell the difference between emotions or like smell emotions. So maybe that's a part of him that he hasn't really developed yet. And
mm,
there was a lot of chaos going on, so maybe he just didn't. And it's Styles. You know that something's controlling him, but you also want to know that he's kind of fighting within himself to be him. You know what I mean? So I think it was a combination of things.
the twins seem to know.
Yeah, at first, yeah,
I
but
think
then
they.
again, everything else was going on, so they kind of, I think brushed it off.
Well, they fell in line when Scott growled at them,
Yeah,
but I think their first instinct was correct.
yeah. Now I thought it was interesting. Well, we had a Aiden and Danny moment, so that was cool. Not Aiden, it was Ethan. Ethan and Danny. in the
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
woods. Yeah, that was cute. They're so adorable. Oh, and a side note, Peter's a daddy.
I know, we almost forgot about that, right? Surprise!
Surprise! And it's the girl from the previous episode that was a were-coyote. Ooh.
Ooh. Her
She got the
dad's gonna
short end
be
of the stick. Yeah, you're right. She got the short end of the stick on that one. She should have been a wolf.
her
What was her
dad's
mama? Like,
gonna
who
be
was her
mad.
mama? Was that
Her
an
dad's gonna be
affair?
mad.
No, but, well, does he really know? Or is it something that happened after the fact? Like, I don't know. We don't know. And again, why did the mama leave? Was it because Peter was back in town and that's when they had the accident? I don't know how long ago that was. How long ago was that?
I don't know. I thought they said it
I
was
have to
like
go back. I have to go back. Was it years ago?
it was.
Yeah, it was years ago. Okay, never mind. But I don't know. Maybe Peter. I don't know what was going on around that time, but maybe Peter was trying to take the daughter away. But at the same, or maybe he was just in town and she was like, I gotta go. I don't know.
Well, but hadn't he been in town just like in the crazy house or whatever? Because that was like 2 years ago. Because that was like their freshman year, right? So it was actually 2 years ago. So I mean, the timing could have worked out. Maybe she knew he was starting to wake up, like he was not really crazy in that house all the time, or in
Right.
that insane asylum. Where was he? Mental institution?
I just thought he was.
Old folks home? I can't remember. He was
No,
in
no,
that.
no, no, no. That's Gerard. You're thinking of
No,
someone totally different.
no, like in the very like first season, Peter was actually in that
Oh
place.
yeah, he was in recovery. That's right. I think it was like a rehab center or something.
But he wasn't talking, but he was going out at night, and I don't know, maybe she.
Right, right. I don't know.
It's
But
crazy.
then it would have had to have been before Talia's death because he didn't even remember that he had a kid.
Yeah, and he wants to know who it is. But
Hmm.
why did they figure that out?
Maybe because
She heard
Lilia
more.
was maybe she heard more than she was telling, and so they went out and looked it up, and they're comparing pictures, and they're like, oh crap.
I wanted Derek's mother to be still alive because
I think that she would be cool.
yeah, I think she'd be a really cool character to develop. So I wanted that to work out. I don't know if it's going to, but
Well, they have her nails. I think she's buried somewhere. I don't think it's happening. And we learned a little bit more about how Lydia's power works. Like the reason why she screams is to so she can hear. I thought that was interesting. And
yeah,
the fact that the bite activated her powers, like it brought out her powers. Peter's bite.
yeah. That was a little. I know she was like, "What do you want me to say? Thank you." Whatever.
Whatever.
Okay, so we're totally interested in seeing what's going to come up with Teen Wolf. So, but let's move on to Helix. We're on day 8 of Helix.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, that's probably the one that's just fresh in my mind since I just watched it.
Yeah, we just rewatched it again. Yeah, we were both watching it at the same time. It was very funny.
Yeah, it was really cool. So day 8, yeah. What we thought came to truth. Obviously, she's his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't. I don't even. I don't even know. Like, how can she not know?
I think something's on with their memories. Like something's done to their memories. The fact that she doesn't even remember going to that place at all when she was little.
And is she a biological daughter, or is she one of those children that were taken and that were brought there?
It may be a little bit of both. I don't know. Maybe he hooked up with someone and she wound up getting experimented on at the same time. I don't know.
And see, I want to know now what his relationship was with Constance, or 7 of 9, and we won't know.
We won't know. That is
was-
messed up.
It is the way that she was acting at the end there when she was like, I was never good enough for you, and yeah, how could you turn your back on us? And I'm like, I need to know what she's talking about.
Is she talking about the other kids? Like because she has the silver eyes, so to speak. So what what is up with that? Like, was she another one of the adopted kids, and she just moved up the corporate ladder because she was fine? And Jules is apparently very special because she can cure everything, but Hatake cured her, so she has his blood. But maybe it's a little bit of both. Like, I don't know, maybe there's something going on with Jules that makes her
different.
popular or different, despite the fact that she had the disease or the virus.
Yeah, because she called her an abomination, and so I'm like, oh, what does that mean? Because she had silver eyes too, so it's not that. Yeah, I was thinking that maybe she was one of the kids too, but she said, she kept saying they, like they established the Alara Corporation, and I'm like, well, who is the bigger? Who aren't we seeing?
Yeah. Apparently, access granted on the Sci-Fi Channel. You know how they talk about it after the show? They're like, well, access granted can give you like a little more information about each episode. I happened to, right before we talked, that I went to access granted, and there was like a video, and there were these two guys saying, well, we're just going to watch for right now. So I'm like, what the heck is that all about? And they're from the Ilaria Corporation. So I'm like, who the heck are these two guys?
Poor children. I have no idea.
They're old.
I think it's great that they showed in the beginning you seeing through somebody infected's eyes now, so you can see how they see. Like, it was really cool because when they were looking at people, it was like they were looking at inside their body too. Like, you could see like it was kind of like an infrared, but you could also see like kind of skeletal while they were looking. It was really interesting, and now you know that they're not just primitive, where they're just trying to pass along the virus. They're smart. They're thinking. They wanted to go and infect the food supply. This virus is getting smarter in terms of spreading itself, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, because at first I think it was at the it's like the beginning stages, and then it's like what's the word I'm looking for? It's using evolution, advancing, or mutating into something even different. And Sarah was pointing that out earlier, that it's trying to survive, so it's like changing, evolving, so to speak, as it's progressing. And maybe that's why they're a little less primitive, because they were on the prowl. Like, they totally ignored Julia. I don't know if she still had her contacts on. I think they even ignored her even though she had contacts on.
Well, I mean, it's a virus, right? So it's kind of like in World War Z, it's the same thing. If you're not going to be able to spread the virus, then the virus is not going to have any interest in you. And that's something that she should have probably told them that, hey, these guys have passed me up. Obviously, I can't be infected anymore, because I think that's what that is. But she should also have said, hey, by the way, there's some people up here in the vents. You might want to know that they're moving freely. I was like, why didn't you say any of this when you're talking to them and down in the? You could have like warning, hello.
So now they have Peter, and Peter's going to be on the prowl again. He's actually going to not be asleep, and he's not going to be in a vision anymore. He's actually going to be up and about and creating more havoc, screaming.
Oh, such a mess.
I don't even know if he's even going to be like talking at all, because he's hardly had any lines except for when he was like a vision from Julia's mind. It's very interesting. I feel kind of bad because I'm like, I want to see a little more Peter. I'm like, why did you have an affair with him? I'm trying to get that appeal. I'm not really seeing it right now because you've been infected. So we haven't really been able to explore that.
Well, I think they had mentioned that, or he had mentioned that affair. What is it? Gosh, what is his name? Not
Alan.
Alan, thank you. Sorry, Alan. He had mentioned that his work was his life, so he ignored other aspects of his life, and that's what happens when you start ignoring people. It's kind of a little cold that she went to his brother. That's scandalous.
Yeah.
But
I understand, but it's like Peter, like Alan said, they haven't really had a chance to resolve it because he got infected. So it wasn't like, and of course Jules got infected. So I don't know. It's a very interesting kaleidoscope of events that are going on in that base. And on a side note, the whole Belisarios, Daniel, Anana situation. Daniel is now Mixa, and Belisarios actually did something nice for once. Although I don't know if those armed guards hadn't come outside, it would have been a different story.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting what happens to him since they're no longer in control and Ataki's in control of the base again. Why is he saving heads? That's so weird. It's got to be important and significant. Maybe because of their eyes. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the DNA that they provide. And then you have to wonder, well, what did a Dr. Vit do to get his head cut off?
I don't know, but I guess it came from that watch.
Yeah, it was a humdinger, that's for sure.
And she gave him that watch. And I don't know. I need to know what their relationship was. I'm just mad that she's gone now. I'm like, what? I thought she was going to be in the show a little bit longer.
I know, I thought so too. She was live tweeting Friday night. I'm like, that's kind of sucky if you're going to be dying in the episode.
I was like, oh man, because I hated her, but I liked her. You know, I hated her.
she was getting hardcore. I mean, she was even letting the Vectors all like run around like they were little kids at a candy store. Like, yeah, whatever. Because of course she was going to kill everybody anyway, so it didn't really matter to her at that point. She was like, I have nothing to lose. I might as well just let them loose and do their thing. And in a way, that kind of screwed her up because guess what? They took Peter.
Well, I mean, in theory, she's got nothing to worry about, right? Because they wouldn't hurt her. In theory.
True.
But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I just it's so weird to me. Like, for a second, I didn't know that those were infected people that took Peter until they said that they were infected people because they were working with a plan. And they didn't care about spreading their disease. All they did was care about was getting him and up into safety, and they were working under orders. And I'm like, that just changes like how you look at what's going on there. Now they're like grouping together, and they're going to form behind a lead. This is when it gets dangerous.
Yeah, well, of course, over the course of the episode, yeah, they were in the vents. They weren't really. It just seemed like they were looking for something. And, of course, when Constance announced where he was, it was like, oh, ding, 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 we're going to go down and get him.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Microsoft bomb.
The what?
The
Oh, the bomb. Yeah,
the microscope bomb. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they tried to kill her. They failed.
Failed miserably. And it was so obvious, too. That's why the guard, Mr. Klein, poor thing. I'm kind of sad that he's killed too now. I'm like, oh man, he was loyal.
I don't know if he's killed because they shot him in the arm.
I thought they just shot him. I thought Daniel shot him multiple times.
He shot him in the arm because he was going to shoot himself in the head, and I think they wanted to keep him alive, so they shot him in the arm.
Oh, I thought he was dead.
Probably so they can interrogate him.
Probably.
But I don't know.
Yeah, so where's the helicopter now? They were going to do like an emergency transport. They're trying to move Jules, who had a muzzle, by the way, look all Hannibal Lecter and stuff. Ish. Yeah. I was like, oh my, I wasn't expecting that because she was biting the guards because she wasn't trying to go nowhere. And it was very interesting how Kataki was all like protective and it's like, you have to protect her. If they get her, you'll never see her again. I love that actor.
Yeah. Yeah, he does a good job. I don't know. I'm excited to see what's coming up for all three shows in the next coming weeks. I think we're going to be getting back to normal here
soon with Grimm.
I think because the Olympics are over.
Can't wait. We're going to see what happened with the parents. Meet the parents, Grimm style.
Right, so everything should be in full force. So we should have that coming up soon.
Can I just add one more thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, on the previews, and it looked like Peter and the Vectors were on one side, and like the Doctors were on the other side, for some reason I immediately thought of West Side Story, and I was like, are they gonna play that song from West Side Story, the Rumble song? Because they had like a country song at the very end. Again, weird music by Helix. There you go. It's like, what are they gonna come up next? What song are they gonna use for the face-off? I'm just curious.
Yeah, their soundtrack is interesting. I don't know. My DVR cuts off previews all the time, so
Shame on you.
Stop looking at them. Yeah. Well, shame on Time Warner. So whatever. Okay, so we will look forward to that next week, and I guess we should wrap up here, guys. As usual, you can find me at Anime23. You can find both of us at the Nerd Element. Natasha.
At WillCat12, and I do live tweet all 3 shows. So I actually live tweet as myself for Helix, but I live tweet the other 2 shows as at the Nerd Element. So if you want to comment with me, watch the show with me, and live tweet with me, that'll be great. You can have a conversation. I talk to several people over the course of this, and also leave comments below. We like comments. We do conversate over there, yeah.
Yeah, it's stuff we can bring up on the show, guys. So go ahead and leave the comments. All right, guys, we will talk to you next week with some new episodes on several shows. So we will see you then.
All right, bye.
Bye.